Machine.
Hello there, this is Claire Lim and welcome to Hot Pod Time Machine. This is the podcast where, along with a special guest, we explore a decision from their past which changed the trajectory of their future for the better. And we have a very special guest this episode, and one of my favourite people. It's Maggie Robertson. Hello. Yay.
Hello.
It's so lovely to have you on this podcast because Maggie, for those who are listening or watching along on YouTube, Maggie's a relatively new friend. We just met in November 2022 at MCM. What did you make of it when you came over to the UK? Did you have a good time?
The UK. Well, I used to live in the UK, so it felt very comfortable to go back and be like, oh, right. The currency. Oh, right. Little phrases that I thought were so funny when I was living there. Even you asked me at the start of this podcast, you're like, yeah, you were right. And in the US, that would, if we ask someone if they're all right, we're asking like, are you okay? Is something wrong?
Oh.
And I remember when I first moved to the UK and people would be like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, yes, I'm fine. Do I not seem all right? Am I, do I have a weird face on or something like that? Whereas we'd be like, hey, you good? Like, hey, what's up? You good?
Ah, okay. Hey, you good? Okay, I need to know these things because I am moving to America. So I can't say that because they'll think I'm asking if they're crazy, right? You're right. You okay?
Yeah, they'll be like, yeah, I'm fine, I think.
So if I just rock up and go, yo, you good, bro? That's how right?
You good, bro? That's how you do it, yeah.
Gotta do the hand movements. So you good, bro?
Yes.
Also, listeners, Maggie, I think at one point we went to a barcade in Birmingham and Maggie kept making me say the word poop. I don't know why. She gets us. She's like, can you say the word poop again? Poop. And she was like, sorry, terrible American accent. But how do you say poop?
Poop. Poop. You gotta round it more and elongate the vowel. Poop.
Poop. Okay. Poop. Okay, so the way I say it's like a little pellet, but you're like a nice long boy. This is how we've started the podcast.
This is peak content. You heard it here.
You heard it here first. You know what? The clipping of this is going to be so easy. First 2.5 minutes, poop. Here we go.
That's it. Poop.
That's why you need to subscribe. Subscribe now, everybody. Subscribe now. Yeah, hit that follow button. Hit the like, yeah, and the notification bell.
Hit the like, yeah.
Hit the like, yeah. Oh my god. Hashtag influencer. Maggie, we gotta like talk about
Mash that subscribe button, bros.
Nash, totally bash it,
Mash
yo.
it.
Bash it, yo, or whatever influencers say. Jesus Christ, I feel disgusting. I feel like I need to just have a wash, just like wash myself off. Yeah. Maggie sitting back.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
And that's the podcast. Good night. Sorry, it's not really.
All right.
See ya.
Scene.
Okay, Maggie, we're all ready. I can tell how this is going to be. We're going to get so off track for the next 45 minutes. We're talking about decision from your past. It can be far in the past or near past that changed the trajectory of your future. So what have you decided to talk about today?
I kind of feel like this is a cop-out, but we're going to talk about it anyway. The decision that changed my life was deciding to apply to the audition that got me Resident Evil. For those of you who don't know, actors can submit themselves to casting breakdowns on certain websites that you pay for, and then you have access to casting breakdowns. You can find auditions there. It blows my mind every day. The fact that I even saw the audition breakdown for this is mind-boggling because it very easily I could have decided I was too tired to comb the breakdowns that day, which happens all the time. I could have just gotten bored or stopped looking through them before I even got to the one that changed my life. So it feels very lucky all the things went right in order for me to even see that audition in the first place. And then there were things about it that really spoke to me specifically. They were looking for tall women.
Yes.
To play this role. The description of the character, even though all of the information about the game was fake, so I had no idea what it was for, the description of the character felt very Shakespearean, and I have a background in Shakespeare. So it just felt like it was in alignment with every single one of my values, and all hit all my boxes. So all of that felt very weirdly fortuitous. And then I applied, and I didn't have an agent. So I was just on my own applying to this general casting call, and got the audition, got the call back, booked the role. My character went viral and became one of the hit characters of the game and also of the year. And it essentially launched an entire career for me. I had no career. I had just moved to LA. I was just starting to make a career for myself in Los Angeles, and this did that for me. So people oftentimes ask me, how do you get into voiceover? How do you get into motion capture? My experience was so atypical. I kind of walked in, landed the one big role that then rolled out the red carpet for all of the other roles that I've booked since then. So there's absolutely no aspect of my life that has not been changed by playing Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil.
And how long ago was that, for those who aren't Resident Evil fans that are listening? How long ago was it when you actually applied from the application process?
I moved to Los Angeles fresh out of grad school in January of 2019. I booked that role a few months after I moved to LA. I think it was exactly the third job that I booked, which is insane.
Crazy.
And then I was working on the game through 2019, through a little bit of 2020 as well. We were still going in for sessions during the pandemic. And then the game came out May 2021.
Right.
And it is now 2023. Okay, wow.
That's quite
time.
What is time?
Yeah.
Time is a concept. I can't believe it. You were working through part of the pandemic as well, and how lucky to land that role. So let's go back a little bit further. Let's go back into our minds to wee Maggie. Let's go back and talk about your relationship with video games and pop culture and things like that. So when you were growing up, what were the things that you nerded out over? It doesn't have to be video games, movies, TV. What kind of thing were you watching and being into?
Well, it's a good thing it doesn't have to be video games, because I never played video games. I didn't even have a game console growing up, but I was a very avid reader and mostly was into sci-fi and fantasy. So of course, a lot of those character archetypes and tropes carry over into video games and a lot of our pop culture. So it felt like a really nice sidestep once I finally got into this world, where I was like, oh yeah, heroes, monsters, villains. I got that. I know exactly what those are. I was always into that. And Lord of the Rings was a huge nerddom for me. Star Wars, Harry Potter. I read Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones was popular. And all my friends growing up, I would be reading books with dragons on the covers, and they would make fun of me. And then Game of Thrones popularized fantasy culture and made it cool. And all my friends were reading it. And I was like, what? Mm-hmm. The nerve of you to now say that you're into fantasy after you gave me so much shit.
And was it delving into those fantasy worlds when you were younger that made you want to go into acting, essentially? What was it that made you decide to go to study it?
It's an interesting thought. I don't know if I ever thought about that. I think certainly I'm an only child, and I think that what that meant is that I spent a lot of time alone in my imagination, in my mind, and reading books, specifically fantasy books, it was escapism. I was able to enter another world without even leaving the comfort of my room or my bed. And so I really liked being able to go somewhere completely new and completely different, and to step into a whole new set of circumstances. And they always felt very real to me, and I got very invested in the stories. And then I was playing make-believe all the time. So maybe all of that, I don't know, we can ask my therapist, but maybe all of that is what led me to being an actor. But it's funny that you say that, because I actually think when I was a kid, I was very adamantly against. I had a real thing about, and I still do to some degree, I hate I didn't like to be visible. I wanted to kind of hide in the background. So acting was very scary to me. And I remember I took drama classes at one of my schools and I hated it. It was terrifying. I didn't like the teacher. I thought she was scary and pushy. I didn't like drama at all. I didn't feel like I could come up with ideas. I would freeze and I would just be, I don't know, I would just be frozen on stage. And going back to decisions in our lives, and because I moved around so much when I was a kid, it is kind of interesting because I can directly trace back where I am today to certain moves that I had as a child. If I hadn't changed schools, if I hadn't moved to another city, I would have never gotten into acting.
Right.
I would have never gotten into music. At the school that I was before, when I hated drama, we had to decide between an art track and a drama track. Okay. And I hated drama, and I was going to do art all the way, visual art. I really liked working with my hands. I found it very soothing and meditative.
Okay.
And I was so into that. And then we changed schools. And then we changed schools. Oh, here's what it is. Then we changed schools. I joined the choir. And I remember the first day of choir, I walk into the room, and my old school choir was cool. Everyone did it to hang out. There was no kind of weird nerdiness about choir. So I was like, great, new school. I know just where to be. I'll join the choir and I will make friends in the choir. And then I got to the choir at this school. Nobody wanted to be in choir. So everyone took all the seats in the back, and the only seats that were left were in the front row right by the teacher. And so I had to sit right in front of him, and then I was singing right in front of his face the entire class. And afterwards he pulled me aside. He was like, hey, you have a really nice voice. I think you should audition for the select choir. I think you should do district choir, nationals. I think you should join our a cappella group. Oh. And he set me on that path. I didn't even know that I was a good singer prior to that, because I just joined choir to be a part of a group. I never joined it to be an individual voice.
That is really interesting, because I feel like there are probably, even now today, a lot of young people at school who they probably don't know what their secret talent is or what their talents are, because it really depends on the encouragement they're given. And also, not all kids are extroverts or people that put themselves in front. Because I was a shy art kid. I just drew and painted and played guitar. But now as an adult, I'm like, I make weird characters and I sing, and I'm taking acting course now, and I'm doing all the things I wanted to do at 39, you know.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't encouraged. Why? I don't understand why they encourage you down such a normal route. I don't know why arts isn't normalized. Is it like that in America, or was it like that for you growing up?
I am cautiously, I think it is changing with our new generation. I feel like the new generation of youths are a lot more willing to put themselves out there and to be unabashedly themselves, which I think is really exciting. Yes. But I agree that definitely when we were growing up, there was a lot of preoccupation with status quo and looking cool and not wanting to step too far outside of the box, which is potentially just a growing pain, an adolescent growing pain that is normal. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely was preoccupied with that, of feeling like, oh, I have to look a certain way. I have to be a certain way. And then as you get older, you're like, well, why don't I just do the things that make me feel good? And I love what you said about having secret, hidden, special talents. If you don't put yourself out there and try stuff, you're never going to find out what that is. You could have untapped potential and untapped talent that you don't even know about, which is kind of heartbreaking to think about.
Absolutely. Because it's been through, hosting Comic Cons and speaking to people like yourself or Neil Newbon, who we both know, a friend of ours. And, when I hang out a lot with people who are very creative and they work in that world. And that's what inspired me to go, yeah, I'm going to give that a try. That sounds really fun. I want to be someone else for an afternoon, and that's incredible. I think we all need that as therapy, to be honest with you.
Totally. It's totally therapy, and why arts education is so important as you grow up. It's a way to express yourself. It's a way to find yourself. And I mean, specifically for you, your job is so unique. I'm sure when you were a kid, it never even crossed your mind that this could be possible, that you could be doing stuff like this. And you just had to find it through trial and error. And the fact that it's successful because you own who you are and you are embracing all of the things that make you unique. You're not trying to be universal. You're trying to be specific and in alignment with your authenticity. And that in and of itself, the more specific you get, the more authentic to you get, the more universal you become, the broader reach you have, because you are able to speak to more people. They respond to authenticity. So there you go. There's a PSA that you can clip that too.
I love that.
Be yourself.
Maggie's my new therapist, you guys.
There.
Maggie is my new therapist.
I'll send you the bill.
No, she's not. She's not my new therapist. Take that back.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk about poop. That's fine, Maggie.
Yeah, that's actually fine.
We could go back to poop as well. That's very therapeutic. I was interested in something you said, Maggie, about how you said when you were younger you didn't like to be seen. But then, you ended up going to do acting and now you are where you are. What was it in your brain that sort of changed that? Was it that encouragement specifically, that moment, or was it through the training when you were training to be an actor?
Yeah, it's certainly something I still struggle with. It's kind of ironic that I found voiceover and performance capture because there is a degree of hiding within that as well. You're not seeing my actual face oftentimes. So there is that barrier there, which I think is kind of ironic retrospectively to look back and be like, oh, yeah, no, of course I really like this. Of course this feels really good. It's exactly who I was when I was a kid. In terms of acting itself and doing theater and doing on camera, I think my comfortability with that came through falling in love with the craft. I never wanted to do it professionally until I realized just how challenging and how stimulating it could be. I had a lot of different interests when I was a kid, but I couldn't settle on any one given thing. And what I loved about acting is that it is so interdisciplinary that I can do it all. I don't have to make the choice. I can have interests in 10 million things and I can bring all of that into the work. I really like being able to connect ideas and thoughts and tie in all of the knowledge that I have about a variety of different subjects into what I'm doing. And I like to be challenged. I get bored. And if I'm bored, then I don't put in the effort and the work. So I needed something that would constantly be shifting and changing and forcing me to adapt and grow and push myself. And acting was exactly that. And then I fell in love with, I guess, similar to falling in love with fantasy, the escapism of inserting yourself into something completely different, to become another person, to enter into a completely different world. That's all the stuff I was doing as a kid anyway. Yeah. This time I'm just doing it in front of an audience, but it was already something I loved to do. So once I learned that it was actually about that, then I think maybe I got okay with it. I don't know. I don't know where that shift happened. I'll have to go back and do some thinking about that.
Interesting. A lot of actor friends, comedians and musicians that I know and love, we often talk about introversion, extroversion, and why we do the things we do. I always feel something that I connected to there. I like interviewing people because no one cares about the presenter. They only care about the celebrity person that I'm interviewing. And that's what makes it okay for me to be on a stage doing it, because nobody cares about me. They care about these people over here. For some reason, that's how it's okay, and I don't get nervous at that point. But somebody said to me a couple of years back, oh, you must be really confident and must love being in the limelight. And I was like, no, those things I'm the opposite of those things. I wouldn't say I'm not confident. I'm older now. But yeah. I think that's the mistake that some folk make, that you love being in the limelight. And it's not about the limelight. It's about the craft. It's about...
Oh, it's so not about the limelight. I think if you're doing it for the limelight, then you're doing it wrong.
Yes. And I have met some people who think that that's what it is. Younger people who are maybe starting out. And I think they want the hits, they want the adulation. But I think the real warmth comes from doing a very good job, just doing a good job. So, but
Yes, that's absolutely everything I've always said. I never wanted to be quote unquote famous. That never felt like an appealing life. I look at the A-listers who are just bombarded by paparazzi. No aspect of their life is private. And I never wanted that life. But what I did want was respect and recognition for the quality of work that I produce and that I create,
yes, fame should be,
which is different.
fame is a byproduct if you get to where you're going to be. And there's different levels of it. And I have friends who are very, very much in the limelight and they hate it. They hate it. And they're very private and they live very far away from everything. And then they come out to do a thing, then they go back away into their hole because it is very strange. I don't think I've ever met anyone who's enjoyed the limelight. There's nothing wrong if you do, but it interests me what the psyche of that person may be. Like, why would you want to stand in a place for no reason? But again, it's about doing a good job. When you came out of acting school, was there that stereotypical fear of, oh my God, I've left the nest, now I have to book a job? Like, what was there, that fear? Because it's a hard industry.
There actually wasn't, and I am inclined to think that that's why I was so successful. I think I went to grad school at exactly the right time. To go back in time yet again, I'd never had a fully stable relationship with acting. I always kind of railed against it and thought to myself, I don't need to do that. Maybe I don't want to do that. There are parts of it that feel really good, and then there are parts of it that don't feel good at all. Sure. So, and I'm a smart, capable woman, so I can do anything that I want.
Sure.
So why don't I find one of those things? And so then after, even though I have a theater degree from college, I left college and I moved back home and I promptly got non-acting jobs to see if I could do that and to see if I liked that better. Then I realized I didn't, and then tried to get back into acting and decided to go back to grad school so that I could really, for me, grad school felt like me finally staking my claim on, I am an actor. This is what I'm going to do with my life, and I'm going to make it happen. Yes. I'm making the conscious choice and I'm proclaiming it in front of all my family and all my friends. That sounds like a marriage. I am proclaiming my choice in front of I'm standing in front of my entire family and friends, making this choice, being willing to be seen, making this choice and to take that risk. And I think because I went into grad school with that mindset, when our program was done, also the program was so amazing and so challenging. I felt like I really grew a lot. And then by the end of it, I was ready. I very much felt like, no, I'm ready to step out there. I've been waiting so long. I've been oscillating back and forth for so many years about will I, won't I be an actor. Now that I've made the choice, I'm really ready to be out there. Yes. And so then when I moved to LA, it was from that place of power where I was stepping into the rooms. Even if I didn't book the job, at least I was walking out of it still in my power with the knowledge that, I'm talented, I work hard, I deserve to be here. If it's not this job, it will be another job that I'm meant to have. Maybe I'm not meant to have this job, but the ones that I'm meant for will come my way. And that was the attitude that I brought with me into the Resident Evil audition. You kind of have to set it and forget it when you do auditions, where you do your best, you do the work to prep the audition, and then afterwards you have to literally forget about it. Yeah. Because you don't know. Sometimes you don't hear back from an audition until months later. You just don't hear anything at all. Yeah. You could book the job, but they won't tell you for 3 months. So you've forgotten that you even auditioned by that time. So you really have no idea how soon you'll hear back, what you'll hear back. And so I usually try to just set it and forget it. Whatever happens, happens. I put it out into the ether, and if it comes back, great.
You have to in this job because it would drive you nuts. If you were to think about all the things you didn't get or the near misses, you have to grow such a thick skin and just accept, just let the universe do as it does. I like that kind of, that attitude that you've got, I really identify with, because it is a matter of going, no, I'm doing this now. I am that thing. And it's almost when you say it out loud and you say, I am the thing. My God, that is a huge thermos. For those who are not watching the YouTube video, that might say, and my God, your thermos is big today, Maggie. Oof. That's very impressive.
I call her Big Chug.
Oh, and you've given
She's
her a
beautiful.
name. Oh my God.
It is bigger than my head.
It's actually bigger than their head. It's probably half the size of Maggie's arm for those who are not watching. Like,
And I'm 6 feet tall, so I have a long arm.
I mean, I do like a woman with a big thermos. I'm not gonna lie.
Tell me more, Claire. Don't stop.
Look, I'm very single, Maggie. I've not got a lot of lines, but when it comes to thermoses,
That's going to be your new pickup line.
that's it. If I'm ever on Tinder, big thermos or nothing. Like, just that's it. Big thermos or go home. Like, that's it.
I love it. We're going to make that a new cult slang.
I kind of want to start a fake Tinder profile with just a picture of a thermos. Yes.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, Thelma the thermos.
Thelma the thermos.
Oh,
I love alliteration.
yeah, so do I. I'm such a nerd. Like, it's so bad. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm trying to do a serious podcast here, you guys, and
I know. I'm sorry.
no, I love it. I love it. I like chaos.
I'm the problem. It's me.
No, I love chaos. I knew when I met Maggie, and I met Maggie with Stephanie. Stephanie's who's going to be in this as well. Stephanie Panicello and
Yay.
Magnus as well, and Neil. My God, you guys were like a whirlwind. I was like, what have I stepped into? It's wonderful. This is great.
It was such a beautiful moment of like kismet where we all kind of came together and recognized that we're all the same type of weird.
Yeah.
And then our weirds just kind of imploded and then exploded and
I feel like
just became a magical ball of weirdness.
we're just a big blob. And I feel like Neil was like the dad. He was like slightly more serious, but also weird. But he was like more of an uncle or a dad figure.
Uncle Neil.
Uncle Neil. Poor Neil. If he watches us back. Neil,
We love you.
We love you, Neil. We love you. We love you, Uncle Neil. I mean, Neil.
Yeah. No, you're so young and vibrant and
You're so young, Uncle Neil. I mean, Neil. Shit.
I mean,
Shit. Oh, no. Look, just look at the thermos, Neil. Look at the thermos. That's so good. I love you, Uncle Neil. Like, that was the thermos, it wasn't me. Anyway, let's go to
Right, what were you saying?
Oh, and now imagine this times 4 or 5, you guys in Birmingham at Christmas time with booze. So that was.
I don't know I think that Christmas market didn't know what to do with us, to be quite honest.
I've still got it up on my We Global World Tours reels. Like it's still up there. So I'll send them to you again later. I show them on my stream now and again and go, that's Maggie, that's Magnus, and people love it. Mag to mag, people really want to see.
Have you talked about Mag to Mag?
Oh, yeah.
Should we plug the show right now?
Okay, so all right, you guys, this is a really special announcement. My name is Claire from We Global. Yeah, we're bringing We Global World Tours, are sponsoring a brand new series coming to WeFlix. Maggie, take it away.
As a side note, I would absolutely subscribe to WeFlix, so make it happen. Anyway, yeah, no, it's just going to be a great show, you guys. We've got a great show for you. It's going to have everything. It's got fun. It's got banter. It's got, I don't know what else. It's got lots of banter. Yeah.
That's all you need. That's the summary of the show, you guys. Banter, bants, and more bants.
Bants, and more bants.
Mag to mag, coming to WeFlix.
That's our log line.
Bants, and more bants. That's it.
I'm weeping.
Oh my God. I really want this to happen though. I mean, I feel like when I come to LA, we just need to start filming nonsense. Like
100%.
I'm always up for filming. I mean, you've not even seen Tarot Cat yet. You want me to show you Tarot Cat? So for those who are listening in, is it just a furry cat mask? It's amazing. It's Tarot Cat, and he's from New York. He's from the streets of New York. He learned his trades. He reads tarot, and he learned his trades in the back alleys of New York. He just like in a trash can, just like throwing out like tarot cards, like spitting truths, you know. So yeah, that's tarot cat.
Spitting truths. Oh my God.
It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link later. Okay. Oh my God.
Because we were talking about how you're going to read my tarot cards next time we're together, and I refuse to have it. You're not allowed to do it unless you're wearing the cat mask.
Oh no, I mean it's okay. It's hard to breathe in that thing, but I could. And I gotta talk like yo, it's tarot cat he. So I gotta do it in the whole thing.
Yo, I love how your American accent also always starts with yo.
It's kind of like warming up. I can't do it without going yo. Like all of my American friends are like, so this is what you do when you're doing an accent. Yes, yo. I mean yo. Yo.
No, it's a thing. You use little catchphrases to key you into an accent, and then you can launch right in. So that's an actual thing that you're doing. It's a technique that you're using, not just randomness.
Exactly. Look, you guys.
You're so smart.
I'm so smart. I know stuff and shit and stuff and things.
You know so much. You know so much.
Maggie, what do you do when you're getting to an English accent? Do you start going, Gwyneth Paltrow, sliding doors? And then do you start... like that's... She's not even...
No.
Goop. And then you get into it. Goop, 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 goop.
Goop would be a great vocal warm-up for singing. You get the guttural g to activate your soft palate.
Oh yeah.
And then you're warming up your
Paltrow palate.
The Paltrow palate. The Paltrow palate.
The Paltrow palate. Oh, she's very good, ever so good at an English accent. Because it sounds...
Oh, she's ever so good.
She's lovely. Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow, so dainty, so English. Yeah.
So English. When I think of England, I automatically think of Gwyneth Paltrow. It's true.
I think of Gwyneth.
Sarcasm for those listening in.
Topical. When I think of England, I think of Gwyneth Paltrow and Meghan Markle. Oh.
Bo, bo, bo.
Right. Let's wind it back. Okay, let's wind it back. So, you get the part, right? Do you get the call or an email, and how do you react? Because when I get an email that's exciting, I don't have anyone to talk. I just go, like it's a.
You talk to your cat.
Talk to Tarot Cat.
Tarot Cat.
I kind of look at it and go, I just get a bit kind of like, I don't know how to react. How do you react when you get an exciting thing? What was your reaction to Lady Dimitrescu?
Okay, first of all, I will answer that question. But second of all, I'm going to tangent us for just a hot second because Tarot Cat reminded me. I moved into a new apartment, but at my old apartment in my booth, a friend of mine at a Comic-Con got me these art prints that are cats dressed as... There's two. One is cats dressed as the characters of Lord of the Rings, and the other is cats dressed as the characters from Harry Potter. And I had them directly behind my microphone in my booth.
Hell yeah.
And so then when I was recording auditions, I would pick a cat that matched the vibe that I thought of the person I would be speaking to, and I would record all of my auditions talking to one of those cats being like, or whatever. And... because it was helpful to have something to look at that I felt was more responsive. So yeah, I'm a crazy cat lady. I talk to the cats. I talk to not even real cats.
I'm gonna do that. Okay, Tarot Cat's gonna go back up here, and
put him there.
So I can look at him and be like, Jesus Christ.
Now he feels like your overlord.
Yeah, he does feel like that. He lives in my brain. I am Tarot Cat here.
I am Tarot Cat. Why am I from Transylvania now?
Now I feel like I'm a Rusky. I don't know what this accent is. What is this? I don't know.
Where in the world is Tarot Cat?
You're Tarot Cat. We got this more like this. Yes.
No, you're Tarot Cat. Yeah,
I feel like Tarot Cat should have a family. And so we've got Tarot Cat and maybe Astro Pussy. Oh God, that was good.
Yeah. Yo.
I feel, wow. I mean, it means cat, so that's okay, right?
It means cat, you guys. What can we say?
Get your heads like totally out of the gutter, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, Tarot Cat and Astro Pussy coming to WeFlix.
That actually sounds like an amazing show.
I really want to pitch it.
It would definitely have to be animated. I'm thinking something along the lines of Rick and Morty, that kind of vibe, weird comedy weirdness.
Do you want to write it? Should we write it? I think we should write it. I want to write it.
I'm not a writer, but I know you are.
I'll write
and
it.
I would love to produce and edit.
Beautiful. Okay.
What you write.
That's perfect. And then when we get it,
Teamwork.
we'll cast each other. We'll just cast ourselves. You can be.
Does that mean I'm Astro Pussy?
You're Astro Pussy.
Obviously, you're Tarot Cat.
I'm obviously Tarot Cat. Come on, like obviously, because I sound like I'm from Brooklyn, of course. You're an
native speaker, am I right?
Yo, come on, like
yo.
What? Okay, what does Astro Pussy sound like? I need to hear Astro Pussy. What's the? It's an astrology sort of cat. Really into astrology.
Do we want to go for like sexy? Do we want to lean into the sexy femme fatale vibe? She could have something more like this. She could be soft and sultry and breathy, or she could be crazy. Like she could be Hey guys, I don't know. She could do something like this. She could be Astro Pussy. I'm just a cat. Let's go fly in our spaceship, Tarot Cat.
Tarot's like, yo, I'm trying to read tarot here.
Did you ever read my tarot cards anymore? You used to like reading my tarot cards.
I moved on, bitch. I moved on, yo.
Your words are so hurtful, but I like them.
I love that. Wow, that's the unseen.
Is that her? And scene. Thank you.
Guys, you have just heard two live creatives creating. Check us out. We're totally creative.
This is the creative process, everyone. Welcome to the masterclass on the creative process. What you've seen here today is a prime example of what an exchange of ideas and creative energy looks and feels like.
Exactly. We just got you just got to start with Tarot Cat, end with Astro Pussy, and let's go, my friends. Let's go.
You just let the ideas pile on top of each other and go, baby. Yeah, baby. Now I'm Austin Powers.
And now we're stealing some intellectual property and scene.
Light stealing and scene.
Right. What do you do? I'm back.
Right.
What do you do when you get
What did I do?
Thing, like
I think I got a phone call from the producer for Resident Evil. I love that we actually came back to track. I'm very proud of us. I think I got a phone call. I think it had been months since I auditioned, and so I kind of low-key forgot that it even existed. And then when I got the call, I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, sweet. I remember I didn't get very good service in my home, so the producer called me and I had to be like, yeah, one second, let me, I had to step outside onto the street to take the call. And anyway, but yeah, I still, even when I got the call, obviously I was so excited to have booked something that I thought would be cool, but I had no idea what game it was. So I had no idea of the scope of what I had just achieved. It wasn't until I got to the table read that I started to clue in to the fact that this was kind of a big deal, that I didn't just book any voiceover gig. I booked the voiceover gig of a lifetime. Yes. I had no idea that that's what I had booked.
So when you look back with hindsight, what is it? Was there a defining moment that you thought, wow, this really has changed the course of my career? Because when you know what it's like, when you're doing a job, you're just doing the job. You're like, this is a cool job. Yes, it could be a big job or a small job, but it's cool. You're just working to be the best you can be. But when you look back, you go, oh my God, that sort of changed things. Was there a moment that you found that there was that moment?
I felt immediately that there was a shift happening. I think because the second I got into the volume, I had one of those lightning bolt moments where the volume is where we film, performance capture, and motion capture shoots. So when we were doing the cut scenes for Lady D, that's where we were. We were in a volume, which is essentially a big open space with 360 cameras all over the place so that they're capturing your physical data and your movement data from every single angle that you can possibly have. And you're in these weird suits, and you have sensors all over your body, and you're wearing big helmets with cameras in front of your face. And so there's a lot of new technical components to get used to. But the second I stepped into the volume, it was that lightning bolt moment where it felt simultaneously new and different and challenging, but also eerily familiar. There's a lot of stuff about performance capture and mocap that feels akin to theater and pulls directly from my background there. And so it felt like a really nice sidestep into this world. And the second I started doing it, I knew immediately that this is what I needed to be doing with my life. I kind of had that instant reaction of, oh, this is it. I'm gonna do this. And it's crazy because if I hadn't moved to LA, if I hadn't applied to that audition breakdown, I would have never had that lightning bolt moment that told me I found what I need to be doing, that told me I was in the right place, that I'm doing what I need to be doing with my life. So that's kind of cool. And so that was an instantaneous reaction and shift and change for me. But in terms of the rest of it, I think tying back to what we were talking about, if you can't do this to seek fame. If you're seeking fame, you're not doing it right. The objective is to do your best work. And that held true for me while I was working on the game. I didn't go into it with any expectations on the outcome. I was just happy that I booked a job, and my only thought process was don't look like an idiot. Don't make a fool of yourself because you're doing something new for the first time. I didn't know what I was doing, but I trusted that I was smart and capable enough and had enough tools in my tool belt that I could still do the job. But I still had to be on my A game of picking up on all the informational clues that were different, that I needed to shift and adjust and tweak my work to fit. Wow, I really crapped out at the end there. Anyway, but the point is, while we were recording the game, while we were shooting the game, I literally did not think at all about how this could impact me, myself, and I in my career. Yeah. And even when I was doing the game, I knew that I knew that the game itself would be a big deal, but I didn't necessarily know that me within the game would be a big deal. So the entire process for me was just me being like, this is my very first game. Don't fuck it up.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the right attitude, because if you go in just to be the best you can be for yourself and the people you're working with, that is your responsibility. It's not to think.
Yeah, that's literally your job. Do your best work.
Just do your job. Like, don't think about the twinkling lights that may or may not be beyond it, kind of thing. But because
you could be set up for success. You could have all of the best people behind you. You could have the best sets, the best everything, and it could still flop.
Exactly.
So you literally never know how things are going to turn out and what the outcome will be of a certain project. So that's why it's important to not go into it with any outcome expectations, but rather just to go into it for the joy of the work itself, to create something great for you. And then if audiences also happen to think it's great, then even better. But if they don't, then at least you know you did your best work. Absolutely. That's the only thing you have control over. You have no control over the rest. That's the same with auditioning. The only thing you have control over is you. The outcome, no. Who knows?
No, you just got to go into that audition, send in your tape or whatever it may be, and show them what you're made of. And that is it. You know, that's literally it. Why? It must be an amazing, humbling feeling to have been part of creating in your own way and playing such an iconic character for a lot of people now. What are the kind of things that people say to you? Because when I was in Birmingham, your line was really long and you were always kept busy talking to people. What were the kind of common things people come up to you and say?
That's been so surreal about all of this, is the fan reaction and reception to this character. And now that there's been more time post-release and people have gotten to know me, the actor behind the character, it's not just about the reach that the character can have, it's also about the reach that I as a person and as an individual can have. I think when you become an actor, you think a lot about how your work and the roles that you play will impact people or potentially affect change in that way. But you don't necessarily think about how you, the individual, can also have an impact and create change and have meaning to other people outside of your close friends and family. So that's been both what are words both really rewarding and also kind of terrifying, because now the things that I say and do, they matter. I have an impact on people, so there's a pressure that comes along with that to always be at your best and to be serving that community to the best of your ability. But for the most part, it gives a lot of joy back and a lot of reward back, and it is really impactful to hear the stories of people, especially because this character, I think, really speaks to a lot of marginalized communities. And so to hear from them in particular, to hear how she's meant to them, and how I think she teaches people to be themselves because she's so unapologetically herself. And that's something that I tried to be in my own life as well. I'm a big old weirdo, and within my fan base and within my community that I've built there, I always try to say, come as you are. You don't have to be anything other than yourself. And so I think that there's a lot of really positive stuff that can happen from that, just to witness people being willing to be seen in that way and to be themselves in that way and allow all of themselves to shine. Even though it makes me uncomfortable, so I understand. But yeah, it's really powerful to see someone engaging in their authenticity openly in that way.
100%. What would you say are some of the lessons, the takeaways that you've learned from that whole period of your life? Because when you look back as a wee old lady in your bed, they'll be fond. I always think of that analogy of like, what will I think of when I'm a wee old lady in my bed? What are your takeaways from that time? Have you learned that when you become Astro Pussy for real, like when you are Astro Pussy, and when I am Tarot Cat?
Oh my God. I absolutely want that to be my legacy. Lady D, move over. We've got Astro Pussy.
I love it so much. Oh my
Step
God.
aside.
And we shall remain single for the rest of our lives.
Oh, for the rest of our lives. But we'll have each other.
Exactly.
We'll have each other.
Yo! No! I mean, yeah, yo!
You don't want to be with me for the rest of your life?
Let me pull a card from the deck. Let me consult the tarot.
Let me pull a card from the deck. Well, you have to kind of bounce you always kind of bounce. Let me pull a card from the deck.
But you do, you have to, the gap between your earlobes and your shoulders has to narrow.
It's non-existent.
Non-existent.
When you're doing a Brooklyn.
You gotta do that, and it's almost
This is acting. You heard it here. This is how you act.
For a moment, I looked at the screen of us both doing the movement, and I thought, this is my life now. This is it. I love it.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm really happy with it, to be honest with you. Maybe scene, and scene. So what have you learned from that time that you are taking forward with you, that you are going forward with in future? Have you learned anything? Apart from Astro Pussy, of course.
Yes, I have learned a lot. I think the biggest thing that I learned, and the thing that I'm still trying to learn and accept about myself, I think when you are first starting out in this career, because it is so challenging, you feel like you have to have a laser focus. And I, for a long time, kind of narrowly defined myself as just an actor. That's the one thing that I do. And now I am trying to expand outwards and realize that I'm not just an actor. I'm an artist, and I'm a creative, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a wide myriad of things that fall within my artistic wheelhouse, and I can create anything that I want to create, even if I'm not acting. I could be singing, I could be doodling or producing or whatever. So stepping into expansion and just, yeah.
Being your best self. Like, you're not just like, like there's lots of strings to your like bow, which is so totally tubular.
There's so much to unpack there. Lots of strings to your bow. Totally tubular.
I don't think
Let's bring totally tubular back. Let's do it.
we have to bring tubular. I've said it 3 times at least this week in the hope that maybe it'll come back. It doesn't sound good in my accent. Tubular. It doesn't sound good.
Tubular.
Tubular.
Totally tubular.
Totally tubular, dude. You gotta like do it in a.
Totally tubular.
Oh my god, I'm like totally tubular. You're like totally tubulicious. Seriously.
Yeah, like get that vocal fry. Like totally tubular.
Like totally slack your jaw.
And hit that R.
I could like nah.
Drop your jaw.
Like ah.
Hit the R and drop your jaw.
Drop your jaw. Poop. I don't know. How would you say poop?
No, you said it right.
Poop.
Poop. No, not Pope, not the Pope. But poop.
I'm just off to drop a pope. I just dropped
off a Pope. I unloaded a massive Pope.
Pope's in the bathroom like, hi. I'm like, hello, yo, that's how he talks to me.
Yo, the Pope is also from Brooklyn.
I feel like all of the characters in the Weverse are from Brooklyn. Like that's
every character's
from Brooklyn. I don't know why. Anyway, I would like to say that because I like to learn something, feel something at the end of every one of these podcast episodes. And I'll say this, I was really excited about having Maggie on because when I met Maggie and everyone else in November, I had no idea that I was going to have such an amazing, fun time. Usually I just do the job, I go to my hotel and go home. And it was so wonderful. And it was, you were definitely part of my journey of realizing it's okay to be a freak. To let that flag fly very high. I was letting it fly high anyway, but really let it fly high in the middle of a public space in Birmingham. That was great. And looking at people that are highly inspiring to me because they're just lovely, good people. They're just up for fun time. And that was just so lovely. And it's one of my best memories of the last year of 2022. So thanks.
It's like really sweet and I hate emotions, so it makes me want to vomit that you're being so nice to me, but I totally agree. And yeah, that con was particularly memorable. All of my best experiences have been ones that are centered around that sense of community and connection and the fact that we were able to find kind of an instant family at that Comic-Con where that click that quickly with people is quite rare and quite special. So yeah, I loved it and I loved getting to know you and I'm so glad that you're in my life.
Oh yeah, no problem. Hopefully we'll work together.
Yeah, no
again,
problem. Yo, no problem.
Yo, no problem. I got no neck,
No
yo.
problem.
No problem.
Hey, got lasagna.
Jabroni, tubular. Wrong side of the Americaverse.
That is so weird. Tubular. Hey, it's totally tubular.
It's totally, what are you, a jabroni? Totally tubular.
What are you, a jabroni?
Oh my god. Anyway,
On that note,
I think we should end on totally tubular and jabroni. So that's how we're going to end it. But Maggie.
And Pope.
Oh, and Pope. Poop.
And Pope. Poop.
Or the Poop Pope.
The Pope poop. The Poop Pope.
Or the Pope did a poop. Oh. Oh.
The Pope did a poop in the poop. Poop. Huh.
I'm watching
Let's go.
Maggie now visibly like have a brain meltdown. She's like
brain wheels.
It's like the physical manifestation of an actual meltdown. Like boop, 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 boop. It's like
does not compute.
And scene.
See.
See. Maggie, where can the people find you? You got to do the socials, yo. Go for it.
Yo, the people can find me on my social channels, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Maggie the Bod. You can subscribe to my newsletter also at Maggie the Bod. Yeah.
There you go. She's there you go. And scene. Beautiful. Scene. Maggie, thank you so much for being on Hot Pod Time Machine. It was wonderful chatting to you. I knew it would go like this, so I was really happy that you said yes. Thank you so much. Guys, you've been listening to Hot Pod Time Machine. I'm Claire Lim, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Hot Pod Time Machine.